Hi everyone and welcome back to Scale Studio. Today we'll be looking at another kit review, this time on a concept vehicle, the Panther's little brother, the Vk1602. I actually encountered this vehicle for the first time in World of Tanks and I totally fell in love with it. This amusing hobby kit looks like it'll be a bunch of fun, so come along and let's unpack this monster of a kit. For such a small finished model, this kit has a shocking number of sprues. Hopefully this means that it has a ton of detail and not a lot of useless repeat parts. Starting off with sprue A, we can see that this has the main upper hull components, front glacis, and some small stuff like the final drives and exhausts. It has actually really nice weld molding, which are a little shallow, but we'll see if they need to be replaced. The other details seem to be generally flash free and well cast. The exhaust armor and the final drives will need some basic cast armor texturing, however. There is some nice details on the insides of the hatches, but there's no interior detail, so these will probably be sealed up. Sprue B has the backplate, fenders, yet another glacis plate, and some other small hull components. The fenders seem to be nicely thin and relatively pinmark free, but for the fun of it, we'll probably be damaging these up a bit. Amusing Hobby did not skimp out on the weld detail, and the armor plates actually look quite nice as well. We have two D-sprues, which include quite a few components. It has two types of drive sprockets, engine deck hatches, towing hooks, and other small details. The idler wheels are also fairly complex and delicate assemblies, but if we do it right, it should look incredible. We also have two DZ sprues, which seem to just have more small details like pistol ports, more towing eyes, and miscellaneous brackets and shock absorbers and stuff like that. Sprue E is the main running gear, and since it has some of the same interleaved road wheels like its big brothers the Tiger and the Panther, there are three of these sprues to accommodate the obscene amount of road wheels required. The sprue also includes the torsion bars for the suspension, but some of them appear to be broken, which is unfortunate. We also get two F sprues. These contain a lot more small details, the rear stowage boxes, and some of the engine deck vents, as well as the idler wheels possibly. There's another set of idler wheels in an earlier sprue, so we'll have to see if these are any better, or whether they're just trying another version. As is clearly evident at this point, most of the kit details are based off of Panther components, with few of these sprues potentially coming from another full-size Panther kit. Sprue G comes with the main exhaust pipes, which can be oriented in several different ways. Again, it looks like they're allowing the builder to base their kit off of any Panther version they wish, which I think is pretty neat, since it allows for some customization and uniqueness among different Vk1602 builds. This slightly warped sprue we have before us is Sprue H, which has most of the turret componentry on it. From what I can tell, this was basically entirely ripped from a Puma, and has a bunch of really neat interior details that should really shine. It has a one-piece barrel, a slide-molded muzzle brake and machine gun, and the entire breech assembly as well, which looks extremely well detailed, and should look very nice through the turret hatches. The main thing that I think I'm going to modify on this is the mantlet cover, since this would be cast and should definitely have some texture. Sprue N is pretty basic, with a bunch of different antenna styles and armored antenna bases, as well as a photo etched shaper for the antenna armature at the top of it. Sprue P will be a fun sprue to work with since it has most of the Pioneer and towing tools on it. These will take very well to basic wood texture, 3D printed and photo etched clamps and other details, and some of my favorite painting techniques. Otherwise, there's not a ton to write home about here. They look fantastic and should paint up really nicely. Sprue T has another turret floor and some gunner and commander seating. Sprue Z lets us really see how detailed the model truly will be when completed, since the entire sprue is just dedicated to the jack, which looks super well detailed and should look great with some 3D printed mounting brackets. The turret and glacis plate are molded together on a very small runner, and look great. The weld detail on both looks superb, and I don't see any preliminary defects or even much flash at all. This model kit comes with fully working tracks and has 4 sprues just dedicated to pins and ice cleats. If we don't replace these with 3D printed Panther tracks, we may be in trouble. For those without access to a 3D printer, however, these look absolutely incredible. The tracks are molded in sets of 2 and are all loose packed in a small plastic bag. They look well detailed and should pose zero problems for installation. The flash on them does look a little extreme, however, and so cleanup is going to be necessary if you do decide to use these. The single-piece bathtub-style hull looks very well detailed and doesn't seem to have any real molding issues. Even the bottom has all the hatches and access points for maintenance, which totally could have been left out on a paper Panzer, but their inclusion shows Amusing Hobby's dedication to this art. Surprisingly, we have 2 identical clear plastic sprues with this kit. This was potentially just a packing error, but if so, you won't see me complain about it. The sprues themselves are very well detailed without any crazing, yellowing, cracking, and otherwise devoid of any unwanted textures. They should look really nice on the completed model. The decal sheet for this kit is pretty great in my opinion. It's super basic, but doesn't constrain the user to one specific style, unit number, or anything like that. I do wish for some basic unit markings, but I have some spares in my collection that I should be able to sub them out with. We may actually try some really neat airbrush masks on this kit. This kit also includes a bunch of photo etch, which is super nice to include out of the box. One of the coolest parts of this kit is that it comes with these spider-like antenna ends that look really neat on the final product. Otherwise, we can see a lot of basic PE parts, some mesh screens and small sheet metal details, as well as side skirts for the vehicle. This being my kit, we will definitely add more detail in the form of 3D printed parts and some spare photo etch that I have, but this is a great starting point. The Leopard also comes with 4 different suggested marking options for the vehicle, with ammo paint suggestions at the top of each page. We will probably go for something fairly basic since I'd much rather focus on the build and weathering over some intricate camouflage, but we'll see. And we finally come to the end of this kit review. Overall, this kit seems very well thought out, comes with a bunch of options, and is decently detailed for a paper Panzer. This should be super fun kit to build, and I'm hoping that the build process is as easy and streamlined as hitting the like and subscribe button would be for you. As always, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video, and thanks to my Patreons, who are somehow still sticking with me, even with my terrible upload schedule. Right now, while I'm trying to upload consistently, I can't ask you to support me in that way, but if you do subscribe, then you can help me out with your views, comments, and likes. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.